Hey everybody, welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I'm your host Caleb.
I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars with this man.
Alright, we have, we had an episode last week that was kind of an episode. That was rough, because we had technical problems. But we did have an episode last week. This week, we're finally talking about the thing that we've been trying to talk about for three weeks.
3 weeks.
Which is the Acolyte Wayseeker, which we have the book somewhere. Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah, Seth is done holding it. He's had it for 3 weeks now.
Yep.
So you've had it for a month.
Had it for a fucking
month. But we will talk about that when we get to the main topic for today. Actually, we are having two main topics today, because surprise, surprise.
I did a little extra.
He did some extracurricular.
Fuck, I probably should.
He did some extracurricular that I did not ask him. Usually when we do the extracurricular, I'm like, hey, do you mind doing this? I didn't ask him to do this one.
Yeah. I took...
He took the initiative.
This one at a lot slower pace as well.
Yeah, Tales of the Underworld. But we'll get to those when we get to the main topics for today. We normally like to start off by talking about what we've been up to this week. And so...
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Oh, do you not want to talk about Night Rain?
Oh, no, I'm going to talk about it.
Oh, did you get to play it last night?
Yes.
Okay, so Zach, if you're here, Zach and Pixie, if you're here, he's going to get to talk about it. Funny conversation from yesterday on Pixie stream.
Oh, yeah?
No, because you were there. We were...
Oh, yeah.
Well, you weren't in the stream, but you were talking to me, and I was middlemanning. I can talk about that first.
Yeah,
so, if y'all don't know, our mod Pixie, who is also one of our friends who also streams, she was streaming yesterday with her hubby, boyfriend, Zach, and they've been playing Elden Ring on Fridays, and so they were doing that on stream yesterday. And I was watching the stream as I'm getting ready for D&D with the boys, and while we're waiting for everybody to gather around, everybody's just catching up with each other. And I'm listening to the stream and to them in the Discord channel. And I'm like, I see that Seth has bought Night Rain on the PlayStation. Like, because he's my friend on the PlayStation, on PSN. So I can see, like, that he's bought it, because I look in the store, because I forgot that it came out until I started seeing a bunch of ads for it. And,
I do have multiplayer now, so...
Oh, you bit the bullet and bought PS Plus?
It only took how many years?
Let's see. PS Plus has been around since the PlayStation 3, so...
Oh, well, I had a different thing for PS3. Don't worry about it. It wasn't mine.
But yeah, PS Plus has been around since the PS3, because that's when they started doing you get a free game with every month that you subscribe. And then, where was I? Oh, but yeah, so I saw that he had bought it, so I was like, oh, hey, Zach, he's probably going to get to talk, Seth is going to get to, because Zach watches the podcast specifically. Mm-hmm. He watches other content that we do, but he is proud of watching the podcast specifically. Yeah. And so I was like, hey, Zach, Seth is going to talk about Night Rain on the podcast, because they were talking about how they were probably going to get it, and they'd heard good things for the most part, like, and so because they were kind of initially before the game came out, they were kind of on more the safe side of I'm not sure, because I don't know how I feel about a Soulsborne Fortnite, essentially, is what they were joking, because they were playing Fortnite or she was playing Fortnite at the time. And I was like, just because it's a trying to remember the term, type of video game, battle royale. Just because it's a battle royale game, and even then, it sounds like it's not exactly a battle.
Not a battle royale.
But like that was how it was initially advertised, right? Like that was how they were initially talking about it.
Kind of.
Like when they first announced it, that's
more like a group roguelike.
But you know what I mean? That's how it was kind of talked about at first, was group roguelike battle royale mix. And so people were like, well, what the fuck's that gonna be? And so people, like a lot of people were more hesitant, because they were like, I don't know if I want that, especially since the multiplayer is kind of the weakest part of any From Software game. It's
not the strong suit.
No, it's not their strongest part. It's the part more people wish they were better at, because they like playing the co-op in their games. People like playing the co-op. It's just the co-op is not good a lot of the time. I think Elden Ring is probably the best that it's gotten.
Yeah, and even then, it's still got its problems.
Yeah, and so, because Elden Ring, you can actually, unlike other Soulsborne games, you can, from start to finish, co-op it, whereas other ones, it's a little harder. Like, without mods, you can't do that. But anyways, so I was being middleman and talking about that, and then you go, oh, well, actually, I didn't finish downloading it because I turned off the PlayStation instead of letting it go in rest mode. Mm-hmm. So I have to restart it, and then
I meant to like put it on like sleep mode so that it would download while I was at work. But because muscle memory, I've like taught myself, if you're not playing a game, the console is off. What?
No, yeah. I am not that person. My PlayStation is in rest mode a lot of the time. I think, but also I think they did a study. I think Sony did a study on like, because they can see when your PlayStation's in rest mode or if it's off, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I think they did a study that showed like almost 50-50 how many people just rest mode it versus actually turn it off entirely. So that's very interesting to know. Is that it's very split. Like you would think that there might be more one way or the other. Like I don't know which one would have been more in my head, but it's actually very interesting to know that it's 50-50.
I feel like it would be sleep mode more, right?
That almost feels right. Like you would think more people would be, I guess, downloading games in the background when they're not at home or whatever.
Yeah, that way you can like passively receive updates.
Mm-hmm. Including your PlayStation update, like the actual console updates, not even just game updates. But no, but it's 50-50, which is, or about 50-50. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, you were telling me like that plus you hadn't gotten PlayStation Plus yet, which we all joked about you having to bite the bullet on that one because you have been a strong opponent of that, where you're like, I am not getting PlayStation Plus, even though so many games that we want to play together require PlayStation Plus, like Divinity Original Sin.
Well, we can play together now.
We can play Divinity Original Sin together now.
Shit, man. You're fucking up at like 10:30.
Yeah. I was trying to get stuff done though when I got up.
No, I meant at night, not in the morning.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
Remember,
this morning, yeah.
I'm a goddamn nocturnal creature.
And even this morning, the reason I was late is because we stayed up pretty late last night after the D&D game, which I am excited.
So fucking happy.
I'm so excited for the audience to see that finale. I think that was probably our best arc finale so far. It's definitely the most emotional one.
Yeah.
Because last night y'all got into it, even with some players being a little bit tired. Not to name names.
There's an uncut version where things are fucking...
Where somebody is... Yeah, where it's a little more funny because somebody's sleepy. But I edited that. I edited that out.
Them out.
Like I said, no names.
No names.
I think the audience will be able to figure out when the episode comes out, actually.
Like, man...
Then again, that person is usually pretty quiet anyways.
Mm-hmm. They're like, man... 1/4 of the cast is...
But they're generally quiet anyways in RP moments.
Yeah.
To be fair. They made it through all the combat, though.
They did.
And y'all had 2 combats during that. And y'all potentially had 3. Y'all missed a lot of treasure.
Yeah.
Because you decided to bypass and just go straight to finding Octavian. Which that's not spoilers, because I think...
that guy.
I don't think it's spoilers to say y'all are chasing Octavian, because I think the previous episode is already out. Mm-hmm. And so there's some treasure that you didn't find. You didn't find Yorick's body, which I...
Yeah. Sorry, Yorick.
Do you want to know where it was?
Sure.
It was in... So you know how you had the color portals?
Mm-hmm.
It was in the one with the music and the laughing, which is why I had Yorick speak up and be like, oh yeah, I used to play music. And then nobody...
I think the reaction I had was, yeah, cool, man, whatever.
Like, I tried to do that as just enough of a hint without going, hey, I think that's where our body... Like, I didn't want to just be like, hey, you should go there. Like, I didn't want to do that. But...
I think I was like, find Octavian. Get that fucker as soon as possible.
But I did like how that finale was, because it's got your action, it's got your emotion. It's definitely got your emotion. Yeah. It even got Seth. That's saying something.
Like, oh, fuck. That realization where I'm like,
When you realize what was happening in that moment, yeah. Yeah, when all the characters start giving their goodbyes, you should start...
Like... You should be very dramatic about this.
But no, if you get Seth to be emotional about something, you've done something right. It takes a bit. It takes a little bit more than most people.
It took me, like, right up until it happened. I was like... Which makes what Boone says to them in hindsight fucking hilarious.
In a very sad way.
In a very sad way, because he was like...
Yeah. Oh, I know it.
But God, I hope never to see you guys again. Because if I am, that means something is very wrong.
Oh, man. But no, I am proud.
We also got to see Boone invisible and on fire.
I am proud, though, of that session. I like that, how that one... That was such a good arc finale. Obviously, we're going to take a break so I can write the next arc. And, like, kind of plan everything out. We also had some epic NPC moments in that finale, too, that... Because we let some characters shine. Yeah, we let some characters shine. Because I was, without saying too much, I think a problem in D&D for players is not knowing when to do your heavy abilities. And so that's why I think it's very nice that I enjoy telling stories in arcs. And so, like, whenever we're hitting the end of an arc, use your big moves. Like if you're 90% sure that you're in the big boss fight for the arc, that's when you do the big moves. Because that fight was...
While we won...
Somebody almost died. Somebody almost died.
I was like, dude, could we not? I kind of need my whole team here.
Yeah, somebody almost died, and then on top of that, y'all actually didn't use any of the special bonus actions.
We didn't. We lucked out.
Because I gave y'all bonus actions for that, and y'all were like...
I thought about it, and I was like, okay, if I have... I was going to ask the rest of the crew, but I was like, nah, it'll be fine.
But that was fun.
Because I'd already used my bonus action. I was like, fuck, there are 2 other things I could do here, but I'm like, oh well, it's too late now.
But
I
yeah,
think I did the exact same twice.
But then even after the game, we stayed up until like 3 in the morning, and so I didn't wake up till 10, which was why we were late today. Because while I was mostly on time getting stuff ready, I waited till like the last minute to shower and get like... Because I was editing the video and then uploading it for the Patreon members. And so Patreon members can watch it now. They can... It's up as of this morning. They can watch it. So they can find out what we're talking about. Your mom can watch.
Yep. The things that I stayed up for and didn't go to bed until like 9 o'clock, right?
Buddy.
Yeah, I know. I'll try to be better.
It's not that. It's not even for this. It's more I'm concerned for you.
I'll be fine.
At least you got your water.
Yeah, I got my water, and I'll order.
You've got one good habit going on.
Take a nap when I get home.
You've got one good habit going on. You got water.
I will always drink, not alcoholic.
To clarify, drink water.
Actually happens about maybe 5 times a year, and even then.
And it's even gotten cutting less because you used to drink a little bit more, and then like you were like, you know what? Bad things happen when I drink.
Yeah.
not like bad things, but more of just like you get tired and
I get tired and like
out of it a bit and forget things.
There's that, yeah. But that's because I'm like, I refuse to drink beer or wine because I don't like the smell of it. Which is weird.
So you, much like me, prefer drinks that have more taste to it. But those drinks are the ones that have the higher alcohol levels, and they sneak up on you. They hit you like a train when they finally come in.
A personal mix, and you have been here because I didn't come up with this.
Mm-hmm.
I stole it from someone that I liked to watch a long time ago. The go-to mix is a wild thing and you've had this. It is Sprite, cranberry juice, and Crown Apple. Yeah,
like the Sprite and cranberry juice is almost like a Shirley Temple, and then you add the Crown Apple to kind of give it a little bit more tart tang to it, and it works. It works. I mean, I don't think it's that surprising that it works, but yeah, and so what else have I been up to? I finished Outlaws.
Okay.
DLC, and so I 100% of the game again because I obviously all the videos of me playing the DLC are already out, but also I afterwards finished 100%ing it again because new DLC means new trophies.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore,
not 100%.
Therefore, no longer 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, gotta go get them.
Got to catch them all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not usually a completionist. Y'all know me. I'm somebody who's like, oh, I played the story, good enough. But Star Wars games, I like at least trying to completionist on. When it comes to more recent titles, anyways. And that one, the trophies for that one weren't too hard. It was help write a pirate poem, and then use the new ship for a job. Done. It was those were the only ones I didn't have. I think there were like other trophies that were in it, like that that you could just get naturally from playing the new DLC content. But yeah, so I'll probably uninstall the game again now. Which, I mean, playing it again reminded me like why I like Outlaws and why Ubisoft Outlaws 2 should happen. Ubisoft do Outlaws 2. Said it, and I said this in the video in the last video I did for the DLC because I was like, this feels like the end of the story, like proper. Like with the DLC, it actually feels like, oh, this is the epilogue to the game. Feels right. And I said, now that we finished the story for Outlaws 1, Outlaws 2 should be post episode 6. Since this is between episode 5 and 6 for Outlaws 1. I think 2 should be post episode 6, and it should be pretty recent to post episode 6. It shouldn't be too far off. I would say no more than a year after episode 6. And it should show the consequences of the Hutt cartel essentially being gone.
Oh, yeah, because that happens like a fucking week before episode 6.
Because the only Hutt cartel member left is Jabba because of the events... because of the events of the Crimson trilogy, the Crimson Reign, Crimson Dawn trilogy in the comics, which takes place concurrently to Outlaws 1. So, or like within like a week of Outlaws 1, right? It's in that same span, right? That in between 5 and 6 period. So, episode 6 happens, and Jabba dies, meaning there's no Hutt cartel. Because, yes, while his son Rada is alive and has been confirmed to be in Mandalorian and Grogu film, he's not taking power because Book of Boba Fett confirms that nobody takes power until Boba Fett does. Well, the Pikes try to rise up, rather, but no Hutt cartel member comes forward, right?
Because they're kind of like, oh, the
Hutts are like, we're done.
Yeah.
Because there's like 2 Hutts that show up in Book of Boba Fett who then die, if I remember like how.
They don't die,
they just fuck off.
They just fuck off.
Yeah, that's right.
They don't do anything.
And then Boba's like...
They're like, here is a Rancor for you.
And Boba's like, alright, let me take charge now. And they're like, sure.
Whatever, man. It's not our problem.
Your show.
You're the one whose name is on the title.
And so, like, I would like to see from Kay Vess's perspective...
Oh, yeah.
Like, no Hutts. The Pikes trying to grab more power during this time. And we still have, like, six years before Boba Fett shows back up. Because Boba Fett doesn't show up until Mandalorian era, which is 8 years. It's 8 years after... It's 4 years after... Yeah, 4 years after Return of the Jedi, I want to say. I want to double check that. $5 years. So, and technically he comes back in Mandalorian Season 1, but technically he... Yeah, which is still 9 ABY, so still 5 years after Return of the Jedi. He doesn't show back up till then. So, and he doesn't take charge until Book of Boba Fett. So, the Hutts are kind of scrambling for 5 years. So you have a 5-year gap here after Return of the Jedi, where the Pikes are rising to power, the Hutts are like flailing about.
Crimson Dawn is
gone. And because Kira's in hiding, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have an interesting story you could tell about this chaotic new frontier of criminals and what the new syndicates, like, what are the new syndicates? Because you could have that new one, because you would still have... You could still have Black Sun, obviously.
Yeah.
You could still have the Pikes, because, yeah. Um, you could introduce the Crymora, because they're not in the first game, right? Well, the Crymora even they're kind of gone by the because they. You could give us more of the.
Can't do Zarek Bash because that's gone.
Yep.
So many of them are just gone.
Yeah, you could do more of the what's the alien one that's on the snow planet in Outlaws.
No idea, man.
The Ashara or whatever. Yeah, the Ashara.
Oh yeah, I guess it could.
You could do more of the or Ashiga, the Ashiga clan. You could do more Ashiga clan stuff. You could do more this new one that was introduced in like you could have them maybe rise up a little bit. What did I say they were called? The Mayuki Trade League. So you could have the Mayuki Trade League be more and they were doing deals for all the syndicates. So you could kind of have them be this group that operates as a kind of we all work together.
What?
In which video? Oh, the Bramble video I edited for them. There's a video I edited for them. That's what she's talking about. They've been playing Bramble. It's a video game that They.
Hello, Pixie.
Okay, perfect timing. I guess we can now talk about what you've been up to because Pixie is here, which I mean, hopefully means Zach is here. Because, hey, good news. He's going to talk about Night Rain.
I bought it, and then I downloaded it.
And then you bought PlayStation Plus.
And then I bought PlayStation Plus.
Hey, though, depending what level of PlayStation Plus, you got some free games along with it.
I did not buy the super expensive one.
You got the cheapest one?
Cheapest one, the
Which you still get 3 games a month. Mm-hmm. So, hey, 3 free games.
Woo!
And one of those was a Warhammer game this month.
Oh, great.
This month was actually pretty good. Sorry, I'm going to get off the rails here.
Oh, man. So I did download Night Rain, and I actually enjoyed it. Once I understood what the fuck I was supposed to do.
Yeah. So 2 out of the 3 games for this month are good. I don't care about Ark. I don't think I know anybody that cares about Ark Survival.
I know 2 people who care about them, and they are wildly different.
But Balattro's a good game.
Mm.
That's one that you might get into. It's a roguelike card game.
I know that Sky has been playing it a lot.
I feel like you would enjoy it. It's roguelike poker, essentially.
Mm.
And then Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun is the other game that I think is good for this month.
Right.
And then the June is about to drop for their games. So you're going to get another set of free games. Anyways, you were saying that.
Yeah. So, I went in, I bought it, I turned on the tutorial because, that's what you should do whenever you start a game, learn how to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I made a mistake picking my, so it teaches you the basics of the game with the Wilder class.
Yeah, I was going to say, from what I understand, you pick a class, and that's kind of like... Mm-hmm. So I'd sent a video, actually, to the Discord, and they had the essentially the warrior, the mage, and then they made a joke about the cleric being the clerk.
Mm-hmm. So I go through with the Wilder, learn the tutorial, die to Margit, the Fellowman, because that's what you do.
It's Elden Ring.
Yep.
Elden Ring, still Elden Ring.
Yep. You still die. But continuing on, it's like, all right, now you're in the game proper. Here's the thing: the night is coming, and it's going to be raining. You don't want to be in the rain. It's bad.
Okay, so the rain is their version of like a storm or whatever
Yes.
from any other battle royale
Yes.
game. Because they said they took battle. Because that's the thing. Like, I feel like this game was really poorly told what it is.
It is more accurate to say, like, it's an open world field boss rush.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like the way that they kind of talked about it was they were like, it's Battle Royale with roguelike elements, and people took the Battle Royale part and went, oh, it's Fortnite.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no.
It's like if Fortnite only had the optional bosses, and that was the main thing, and you pick 3 people, and we're like, you squad up, and you went and you fought those bosses, and, like, kill as many as possible.
Okay. Well, that's... I mean, if you like boss rushes, and if you're a Soulsborne fan, that you probably do, then you will like this game, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And you get to play with friends.
So for my first run, I picked the Iron Eye, and I fucked it up because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, even after going through the tutorial.
So it sounds like you, Pixie, and Zach are going to be playing this together. No. No. They'll probably get... Well, they're probably getting it on PC, actually, so probably not. Oh. I'll have to get it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I can play with you.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to find a third person.
Well, I don't care if it's some random person. I'll figure it out.
From what I heard, it's most fun with friends, like people you actually know, though.
Yeah. I did play with randoms both times. First run, I fucked up a lot. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Picked the Iron Eye for my first run, which is an archer type build. I didn't do a very good job. They got pretty far. I didn't. Second run, however, was very good because we got to like the Night Lord boss at the end after killing so many things. I didn't get any of the little memory things.
Oh, no memory
tell you
things.
about the character's backstory.
Yeah, because I did see... Because I was curious about how accurate that was in the video I saw, because it was... It's what's... I forget his name. The guy who does, like, the Ralph Bakshi style of that animation style.
I wish I could remember, because I've seen his...
Yeah, I like that stuff, because I'm also a fan of Ralph Bakshi's filmography, especially his Lord of the Rings film. Animated Boromir, best Boromir. He took 18 arrows, brother. No, he didn't take that many, but he took more than live action Boromir. That's for sure.
Continuing.
Yeah,
on.
continuing though to Night Rain.
The second time I was like, alright, I'll try the Wilder, which is the starting class.
Mm-hmm.
There is like a little codex in the little round table hold that you can go and read up on like your teammates.
Oh.
The player characters when you are not playing them. And like the one for the Iron Eye is basically like, hey, this is a letter from the boss. One of our people named Bat Ear was like, go here and kill this thing for money.
So like even in this like what's meant to be like them testing how good they can do a multiplayer game.
Mm-hmm.
There's still very much like lore that they're dropping. Like they're very much like, oh no, we're still gonna have a story here.
Yeah, like you can go and talk to the people in the hold because that's just something you can always do.
That's interesting because really, let's be honest, Night Rain really exists as a proof of concept because, as we talked about earlier, From Software's multiplayer is kind of its weakest point.
Yeah.
And so I think this is a game where From Software said, we need to make a multiplayer game so that way we can improve our skills with multiplayer. That way, the next major title, whether that's Elden Ring 2 or some other game, it's probably going to be Elden Ring 2. It would be my bet. I don't think they're going to do another Dark Souls game yet. I think they're going to hold off.
No.
I think they're going to hold off. I think we'll get a Dark Souls 4 eventually. You don't think we'll ever get another Dark Souls
No,
proper?
I think the cycle of fire is done.
Okay. I know it hurts to say it, but for you, if I say this, but I don't think we're ever going to get a Bloodborne 2.
No, we're not. I think the reason
Not because
why...
it's a Sony thing. It's because Sony and them share the
but
rights.
I'm also like,
It's a issue where FromSoft can't get Sony to agree to it.
there's that, but I'm also like, Bloodborne is not one that needs a sequel.
It's also unfortunately the least popular of the,
yeah,
and that's even including Demon's Souls, which is probably the next least popular. And I think Demon's Souls, as of playing the remake at least, is a very good game, and you can see in the remake for it why it started the Soulsborne, like...
I'll say this, I think out of all of them, Demon's Souls had the most unique approach to boss encounter design. Because they didn't know what rules they were going to have.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, there was no Soulsborne as a... Like, while I definitely still think Kingsfield had a hand into what makes a Soulsborne game, even though it's a different style of game. One's a dungeon crawler, and then the other is a boss rush. Not even a boss rush. Honestly, Soulsborne games are still dungeon crawlers.
Yeah.
They're just not first-person dungeon crawlers. They're not the old-school first-person dungeon crawlers. It's a third-person dungeon crawler, with more verticality. Although Kingsfield actually has some verticality.
I've heard like a lot of them being like, oh, they're like more of a 3D Metroidvania because everywhere connects to everywhere.
No, yeah, I have in Kingsfield 2, which is the one I'm playing, which is Kingsfield 1 in the US.
Mm-hmm. A long story.
That's just if you've ever played Japanese company games, that tends to be a thing. Just ask Final Fantasy fans. And so, I have all the maps because somebody was nice enough to put every map for that game onto Imager. And so, whenever I'm playing it for a video, I have all the maps pulled up. And, oh boy, are they a mess. I can show them to Seth just so he gets an idea. There are 8 maps.
Oh, God.
And they can interlock to each other, and they interlock within each other as well, because there are connection points even within the one map, so you can go to different levels of that same map. So, like, point A here goes to point A there. But also, here's where it goes to map 2. And that map 1 is pretty simple. There's only one way to get to map 2. Map 2, you start to get a little complicated. You have a couple ways...
A little.
Yeah. And then that's not even including locks and, like, like, having to find keys and stuff. Which, like I said, is very Soulsborne. But also is very dungeon crawly. Because, once again, Soulsborns are essentially just 3D dungeon crawlers.
Yep.
So, yeah, like you said...
when you play Bloodborne for the channel, you are going to have to come to my house to play it.
Why is that? Because you're going to want commentary?
No, well, yes, but also because it's a PS4 exclusive.
I have it, though. I got it through PS Plus at some point. It was on PS Plus at some point, for free. Way back in the day, yeah. So I've had it.
Oh, we can go out through it.
I don't know. So if I run it on PS... Because I think I can run it on PS5... Even though it's because it's backlog, like some are backwards. Some are backwards compatibility. I don't know if that's one of them. It might not be. If it's not, it's okay. I got my PS4 still.
Yeah, just boot
that up. Yeah, just boot up the PS4. And so, yeah, that's a thing. I still have my PS3.
So do I. My little.
I just don't boot it up.
Actually, I have a PS2 in my room. Thinking about it,
I have a PS2 in here.
Yay!
Although I need to get it worked on because it's not turning on properly even when plugged in. It's a slim. I need to get a fat. I miss the fat boys. The fat boys are the reliable ones. especially if you do what I do with PS2s, which is you OPL and then you start to, so that way you can just play video games that aren't on disc.
We got distracted.
Yeah. Anyways, yes. So it sounds like Night Rain's fun.
It is, when you know what you're doing, as usual for a FromSoft game.
So do you think this is a success in them testing out their multiplayer abilities?
So far, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. So you think the next game could have good co-op if they? Okay.
You move so fucking fast, man. I'm not used to like sprinting around at that speed.
You're like, I'm not used to being so fast in a From Software game.
No.
Oh, is it even faster?
It's even faster than like a base game Elden Ring. When you hold down the sprint button in Elden Ring, you're kind of fast. You're a little bit faster than the enemies. They took like the run animation from Sekiro and put it into Elden Ring. Sekiro, you run fucking fast.
Yeah.
So, ordinarily, here's like the pace difference in visual format for people who visually watch us. Normal pace.
Enemy pace is kind of
a
little bit slower. Like, just behind.
Yep. Night Rain.
So you're Sonic the Hedgehog. And
yeah, you fucking fast.
Oh, man.
So, cool thing for the Wilder, the, like, unique one. All of the classes have, like, well, of course, they have unique things.
Yeah.
The, like, tank one summons a big fucking rock boulder thing.
I'm the boulder.
Avatar's a good show.
I had to do it.
The Wilder gets like a little grappling hook, kind of like that's their little passive ability that recharges.
Is that used as a weapon or a travel thing? Or both?
A little bit of both. You can't really use it to like get onto ledges, so it's more of a weapon.
Oh, okay.
And if an enemy and you are about the same size, you will yank the enemy to you.
So you're a scorpion.
Yeah. However, if an enemy is bigger than you, you will yank yourself to them.
So I have a comparison here on that one.
I'm glad I used the word yank.
Yeah. Oh, why can't I? Shadow of Colossus. Except you don't get a grappling hook thing, but it makes me think of that, of like just being able to...
You don't climb
No,
onto the
but...
enemy. It would be cool, though.
Honestly, that... I would love a From Software game that had that type of combat.
Yeah.
Give me big enemies that are so big I can climb them from Soft. You cowards.
They would do a pretty good job of that. Also, you can just fucking hop up the side of stuff now. Go like full ninja.
So they really did just take the travel from Sekiro.
Yeah.
They just said, let's just add the travel and movement from Sekiro to Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm. But back to the Wilder. So its ultimate, for lack of a better term, is fuck you, I have a cannon in my right arm. It takes a very long time to build up because it's an ultimate. And I assume other classes have things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The one for the Iron Eye is like a big arrow. The Iron Eye's thing is more like, oh, I pick an enemy and mark it so that other players do a little bit more damage and have an easier time of like staggering it.
Yeah.
I sucked with my first run through as Iron Eye, so I didn't get very far.
Yeah, you didn't get to really...
However, Wilder with Kiwi and Jawa and like Levi, I don't know who the fuck their player names are, but we fucking ran. Attempt number 2 was great. We like got the night beast that we had to kill, which sort of serves as like the end of day 3
Yeah.
overboss. We fucked it up pretty bad. We didn't win. We got it down to like 1/4 of its health bar, which is really good.
So, I guess questions.
Yes.
So as a roguelike, I mean, I assume because it's got a multiplayer component.
Mhm.
So I assume it still kind of keeps like your progress. But how would that affect if, like, let's say I do buy it, because it is actually pretty cheap, because it's only what, $40 really, which is nice. They realized it's not a full title game, so let's make it cheaper. Appreciate that from software. So let's say I do buy it and I decide to play with you. Would you be able to go back, because you say end of day 3, which makes me think, okay, there is a progression story-wise. Would you be able to go back and join me on day 1, essentially?
Oh, no. You select an expedition, right?
Uh-huh.
And once you ready up, like, if other players are also readying up for that same type of expedition, then I assume you can go back, because it's like you select the field boss.
Oh, okay. So so you select which dungeons you're going to do from the start. Because once again, using roguelike terms, it's like picking the dungeon ahead of time, and then say I'm the lower level one, I pick the dungeon, you join my dungeon, and then that's how I guess you would.
Yeah.
That's how you would get that to work. Okay, got it.
So far
from what you've
seen.
What you've seen, yeah.
And after me and the team were bested by Gladiolus, I spent about a good half an hour in like the training area practicing with the Wilder on like the target dummy.
Oh, okay.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna get my run back.
All right, well, we've spent about an hour on what we've been up to. Okay. But it sounds like exciting. It sounds like if you're a fan of From Software and that this is something that is worth playing. And if you're a fan of Elden Ring, especially. So do you think Elden Ring 2?
Elden Ring 2 is a maybe, but
because what do you think it's going to be? The over-under on it being an original title or a sequel for the next mainline game?
I'm going to say probably an original title.
Okay. All right.
I'm not going to be opposed to a sequel.
Yeah. Because not, like, specifically an Elden... I was very careful to not say an Elden Ring sequel, because the over-under could be... It could be a Sekiro sequel, unlikely, although it kind of deserves one. I'm surprised they haven't considered it.
Sekiro's weird, because...
But it's also the least... I would say until Elden Ring, it was one of the least Soulsborne games to Soulsborne.
Mm-hmm.
But then Elden Ring was like, hold my beer, I'm going to be a little bit different too.
Yeah. The reason why I think is because of Sekiro's story. It's very not weirdly grounded in like the government politics of the time, but it's very important that you understand like that.
It's also
shifted into a fantasy setting.
It's also kind of one of the only Soulsborne games that actually just directly tells you a story rather than you having to find it through, like, items and letters. Whereas Sekiro does a more traditional storytelling of video game format. But yeah, okay.
All right.
I might have to consider getting it.
You should. I don't want to play alone.
Right.
I'll do it.
But we got no news this week. So we're going to get right into the Acolyte, Wayseeker, and Tales of the Underworld. So spoilers ahead. Since it's a little bit shorter, I figured we'll start with Tales of the Underworld. Even though normally we like to do chronological order, but since they're so disconnected, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Do we want to start with Ventress or Bane?
I first want to talk about overall. Do you agree with Harith on the Tales of the Underwhelming?
I've kind of been thinking about this recently. That was one of the things, but I'm also like, I love Star Wars. However, I'm beginning to feel like it's becoming a bit of an Ouroboros.
Oh, where it's just eating itself.
Yeah. Like, it's gotten so big that it's the only thing that it can do.
See, I figured you would enjoy it more than, say, Harith, because...
Oh, I definitely did.
So it is not Tales of the Underwhelming to you?
No. I was like, alright, it's cool to see Ventress again. It's cool to see...
Well,
Cad
I was gonna
Bane's
say, I feel like Cad Bane was the more interesting one for you.
Cad Bane's fucking name.
His name is Kobe! I was so ready for you to find that out.
I was like, shit, man.
You know what? I would change my name too.
Yeah, that's right. Be afraid of Colby. I do, however...
To be fair, though, he'll never miss a shot.
No, he won't.
Kobe! Am I allowed to still make those jokes? Have we passed the time where it's disrespectful to say Kobe like that? It's been 5 years. I think we're good.
That is,
Oh. So yeah, he'll never miss a shot.
No, he won't.
Can't say the same of that being good news for his girlfriend.
No. It wasn't.
God, no wonder Cad went, like, he was just like, I need to...
double down.
No wonder he was like, I gotta stop caring.
Yep. She's like, there's more at stake here than you realize. I'm like, you could just say 2 words.
It starts with sorry?
No, fuck sorry.
Oh.
You know what? Spoiler alert, because
we already gave the spoilers warning, so let's...
She's pregnant with his kid.
Yeah.
She doesn't tell him this in the 2 words of, I'm pregnant. I don't know if that would have changed his mind, but it would have been a far more direct approach.
Do we know if she's pregnant already at that point?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Well, either that or
because I thought the implication was that the kid was his friend's.
Either that. That's the other thing. I'm like, I'm not sure if it is or not.
I think it's his friends. I think the implication is that it's his friends. That, like, after he went to jail, she got with him and...
Because that happens before... She's, like, touching her stomach before all that.
Oh, okay. So she is pregnant by that point.
Yes.
Okay. Let's kind of roll back a bit.
Okay.
Do we want to start with... I guess we're already in Cad territory, even though it's the second half of the show. So we'll start with Cad.
Mm-hmm.
It also, chronologically, Cad's story happens first anyways.
Yeah.
So...
Starts with the good life of him and his adopted brother living in the street.
Yeah, Nero. Him and Nero.
Yeah.
And basically, they run into what's essentially the guy that Cad is going to base his identity off of, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Bilk or Blick.
Mm-hmm.
And Blick's like, hey, you 2 boys, you're just a bunch of street rats. You wanna make some...
Oh, no. Blick is not that guy.
Oh, sorry. Blick is... Oh, yeah, Blick's the other kid, yeah.
Laszlo is
the...
I was like,
What's the name? Yeah, Laszlo.
I know who you are. You're a scumbag.
But yeah, Laszlo's like, hey, you want to make some real money?
Yeah.
Yeah, you street rat kids.
It never calls them that.
No, but everybody else basically does.
Everyone else is like, screw you, orphan children.
I know
we don't like you.
I know it's not your fault you're poor, but you're poor.
Yeah, that's like the energy throughout the entire first episode.
And so Laszlo's like, you want to make some real money? That guy owes me money. But also, here's a taste. And he gives them money to, like, get whatever they want with it. And he's like, but if I give you this money, you gotta work for me. You gotta do a job for me.
Mm-hmm.
I get to call a job in anytime I want. And of course, they're kids, so they don't know better.
Yeah.
So they say yes. Which is really when you should figure out Laszlo's a scumbag, once he says that. Like, once he's like, I'm giving you money, but I get to call in a favor whenever. That's a scumbag thing to do, especially to kids.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad enough to do to adults, but it's even worse to do to kids.
Yeah. It's so, like, the shop owner is also...
Who's also like, oh, fuck you, street rat kids.
Yeah. And so it's like, damn.
But he's like, where'd you get that money? You stole it. And they're like, no, we got it fair and square. Which, yes and no. You did get it fairly. Like, he just gave you the money. You didn't steal it. No, fuck you. Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? It's a wonder these kids didn't turn out so much worse than they are.
Their lives didn't turn out great, though.
No.
But yeah, so eventually, though, Laszlo calls in that favor, and they have to do a job where basically...
Which is just go into the store and start breaking shit.
Yeah, basically act as...
So that I can go and get into the back.
Be the distraction.
Because, like, the back of that the shop where they buy candy from is like a fucking loan shark den. Because, yay, crime.
Yeah.
I guess they needed a way to launder the money.
Yeah, and so...
That doesn't go well. Well, it goes well for... That part actually does go well. Until the police arrive.
Yeah, and then they catch Nero.
They catch Nero, and Colby escapes, and Laszlo's like, well...
At least one of you made it out.
At least one of you made it out, and your friend's gone. So, bad news, your friend's going to, like, prison, because Star Wars just sends children to prison.
But also, you're not going to prison.
So, here's his share of the money.
You get a bigger share, because he went to prison.
Mm-hmm. Also, the fact that, like... Laszlo initially offers them 5, and Colby and Nero have a discussion about, like, oh, is it worth it? And Nero's like, no. And Colby's like, actually it is, but we want double. And I'm like, oh, there he is.
Yeah.
There's the little
Cad Bane.
bastard I know.
We're about to hit an ad, just so y'all know. But yeah, and so that basically is the end of that episode. And we jump ahead a few years to when Nero's now out. And that's gonna be a theme here in the Cad Bane arc, is going in and out of prison.
Yep.
So Nero comes out of prison. He's been out for a while, actually, and we find out that he's been out because Kobe now he's still Kobe, but he hasn't gone by Cad yet.
Yeah, he's like starting.
Oh no, yeah, it's his nickname now. So Cad is starting. He just isn't Cad Bane. He's just Cad.
Yeah.
And so like he's kind of rising up into like that crime family that Laszlo was part of, that he's now part of, and he has his girlfriend Erin, and they go back to like the same neighborhood that Cad grew up in. And they find that Nero is now basically a sheriff there.
Yeah, he's a deputy.
Yeah.
Oh, important thing. The reason why they go there is because Laszlo got killed by the current sheriff.
Yes. Or the marshal.
The marshal.
Sorry. Because the marshal also warns Cad. He's like, hey, you be careful now. Don't be dumb. Mm-hmm. And Cad's like, I'll be dumb if I want to.
Yeah. Well, actually, like, Nero and Colby, or Nero and Cad, have the conversation beforehand. He's like, hey, man...
Well, the marshal first, because the Marshal runs into him before he runs into...
Does he?
Yeah, he runs into the Marshal first. And then he finds out that Nero's around. Oh, no, you're right. No, Nero, he runs into Nero, and Nero's like, yeah, the Marshal killed him.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he's like, by the way, I'm a deputy now. And he's like, hey, man.
And Kobe's like, yeah, Kobe/Cad's like, were you the one that killed Laszlo? He's like, no, it was the Marshal.
Hey, man, you may want to leave town for a little bit.
Just, lie low.
And Cole...
Don't start trouble, essentially.
Nero is like, so about that.
Yeah.
I can't.
Nero's like, hey, Cad, you need to be chill.
You need to cool it, man. And he's like, no. I will not.
And even Aaron is like, no, we should listen to Nero.
And she's like, leave it be. And Cad's like, I'm not gonna. I can't. It's gonna bother me if I don't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the 2 words. Like, before he goes out and does this, there's more at stake than you realize. So I'm like, yeah, you vaguely worded. Don't use vague words. Otherwise, people will do this shit.
But essentially, Cad decides to, commit to a job, and things go...
He's not getting paid for this.
No, this is just Cad...
This is just Cad being like, fuck you for killing my boss?
Mentor?
I
think that's a better... I think that's a better...
Yeah.
Description of it.
Yeah.
And
he blows up the candy shop that is now just a rundown building. And I'm like, okay, cool.
I mean, I think it's representative of stuff, because obviously that shop is what started it all for Cad and Nero. And so obviously blowing it up does represent something to Cad and Nero.
Yeah. And it also gets the Marshal out.
Yeah, which is what he really wants, because he wants to kill the Marshal for killing Laszlo.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads to a big shootout.
Yeah.
Despite Aaron trying so hard for that to not happen.
Yeah.
And then Aaron gets hit, which is why she's holding her stomach. It's not because of the...
No, it's before that.
Oh, okay. I thought she gets hit there.
You keep jumping around and reading stuff instead of, remembering.
I thought she got hit there.
She does. She gets shot in the shoulder.
Shoulder, that's right.
Yeah. There's a very important reason why she does not get shot in the belly.
I still don't know if... Okay, I'd have to rewatch it. I watched it when it first came out, so that it's been a month.
Yeah, and I watched it yesterday.
Yeah. So my memory's a little bit more vague on it.
I don't know, for certain if it's Laszlo or Bane's.
But
either
no,
way,
it's not Laszlo's. I think it's Bane's in this. If she was already pregnant,
I'm fairly certain it's Bane's because of stuff that happened.
Because if she was already pregnant now, then it's Bane's. Because I don't think she knew who not Laszlo. Well, I don't think it's Laszlo's, because why would it be Laszlo's? He's a little too old, I think, to. And it's definitely not Nero's, because she didn't know who the fuck Nero was until this episode. And so, so Bane goes to jail at the end of all this. Yeah. Aaron survives.
Yeah.
Bane is pissed
The Marshal doesn't.
The Marshal is
he
dead.
gets it.
Yeah, the Marshal doesn't. Bane and Aaron are no longer on the Friends.
No.
They are now...
she sells him out because it's
for his own... She's trying to do it for his own good.
Cad was okay with dying. She was not okay with Cad dying.
Yeah, she's trying to save Cad. Cad sees that as betrayal and says, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing...
Vaguely worded bullshit.
Not knowing that she has his kid.
Yeah.
And so he goes to jail.
Because Star Wars is just a series of tragedies that could have easily been prevented.
Also, what a cold line at the end of the episode, too, when Nero's like, so, you got your revenge, was it worth it? And Bane goes, "It will be."
Will be.
Cold. Cold motherfucker.
Like, damn, alright, fuck. Yeah.
And so then we get the last episode of the Bane episodes, where he's just fully Cad Bane now.
Yep.
And it starts off with them going, "Hey, so
He's getting off on a technicality.
yeah, he's getting off on good behavior essentially, or what was
Is literally a technicality.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Hello?
Hey, Buttercup, our favorite mod's here finally.
Yeah.
And so because he gets off on this technicality. Nobody at first knows that he's getting off, and doesn't someone show up dead, which is why they start. No.
Nero is like, alright, look, we don't know if he's gonna come here.
Oh, that's what it is. Where they're like, oh, we don't think he's gonna come here.
Right.
Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha.
Don't worry, Pixie, you're my favorite mod.
I feel like I'm legally obligated to say that.
Yeah, you have obligations. I don't.
But yeah, no.
So
they're like, oh,
shit, Bane's coming here.
and Nero's like, well, we don't know that for sure, and they're like, oh no, we've already spotted him. Like,
They're like,
a
he's
town
on the shuttle here. He is on the train.
yeah. Which this is, I feel like, because we made the joke last night too of Seth being old man. We did joke that you are legally obligated to enjoy westerns.
I think my response was, look, Unforgiven's a pretty good movie.
So the Cad Bane 3 are just a western.
It's just a western.
Because this is literally we're gonna have a shootout at high noon.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a threat telling me to go ahead.
They've raised a gun at you.
No, I think I'm good. No, I'm not gonna.
Speaking of guns being raised.
Nice.
So they continue on, and everyone's like, Nero, if you just send in all the droids and everyone else, we'll be fine.
But they're also like, he hasn't committed a crime yet.
Nero is the only one who's like, he hasn't committed a crime.
Yeah, he's like, we can't do anything. But his deputy Vance is like, but we could. And he's like, but Nero's like, no, we literally can't. He hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah. And his deputy and like the town council are like, you need to go and like send in as many droids as you can to take care of him now. Fuck due process, they all said. Get him. Because that's what they ask him to do.
That's a little bit too relevant, man.
Yeah. And so Nero is like, no, that's not how we do things.
Unfortunately, that's not how the episode ends.
Yeah. And so, like, Cad Bane shows up.
Well, he goes to the candy shop again.
Yeah, fucking candy shop.
Where there are 2 Duros children, street rats, that remind him of him and Nero from when they were younger.
Oh, man. Yeah, no.
But, yeah, no, it ends with them having a high noon moment.
Oh, important thing. Ba-ba-da-ba. Isaac exists.
Yeah, Isaac, Aaron's child, and adoptive child to Nero, because Nero and Aaron got together in the interim.
My brain, and everyone, like, throughout the episode, everyone's kind of, like, saying some vaguely worded stuff about, like, oh, man, when Cad gets here, he's gonna lose his fucking shit.
They're like, when he finds out that you and Aaron got together.
Yeah. And in the back of my head, I'm like, alright, he probably will. And then I was...
Because we know Cad Bane, yeah, he probably will.
And then I saw Isaac, and I was like, oh, did you... Okay, I understand how this is.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. It's probably a good thing that Isaac does not know Cad as his father. Because...
Yeah, because Isaac believes that Nero's his actual dad.
Yeah.
This is a case of adoptive father who never says to son that you're that I'm not your biological dad.
Yeah. And, oh boy... I think it's best that he doesn't know, considering
what
happens. So after Bane sets it up, yeah, I'm very certain. I'm glad to know that 3 weeks of hard work.
But no, they have the shootout.
Yep.
Which ends with Bane killing Nero. Well, mortally wounding him. So killing him. But enough time for Isaac to be there on the scene and run to his dad. And try to be there as Nero dies.
Mm-hmm. After being told, like... So Aaron, it is revealed that Aaron did die in the Inner Rim.
Yeah, Aaron died in the interim, yeah. So that's the other thing that I think people were also... worried about Cad finding out about. Not only that Aaron and...
It's just a really shit day for Cad.
Yeah, like, I don't think they wanted Aaron and Nero to find out... Bane to find out about them. And then also, on top of that, Aaron being dead.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Cad does find out about that. And then he finds out that, like, he just murdered his fucking... son's adopted father in front of him.
And then I think he realizes that Isaac is his.
Yeah. He's like, oh, fuck, I have to leave now.
Well, at first he tries to approach Isaac and try to make good, despite just killing his dad, essentially his dad, in front of him. And Isaac's like, fuck you, you're a monster, essentially.
Like, Isaac is crying, and then, like, the fucking mayor lady from the town is like,
you
go
have
away.
She does that, you have to leave!
It's like, yeah, no wonder. If this has been Cad Bane's life, no wonder he ends up where he ends up.
Yeah. But yeah, they do the, you have to leave moment to Cad. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's Cad's story for Tales of the Underworld. I'd say Ventress's is a little bit happier.
Yes. A little?
Much
happier.
In fact, we start with her coming back to life because, spoilers, Dark Disciple, she dies.
Yeah, I know she dies in Dark Disciple.
But we haven't read it, and I've been trying to avoid that spoiler. And then now everything coming out is like, let's spoil Dark Disciple. Yeah. And I'm like, why? We need to get to it.
I knew that she came back to life because of
people complaining about the fact she came back to life.
No, because we fucking watched Bad Batch.
But Bad Batch doesn't say she died officially.
Yeah. No, but
fans started complaining about it.
Everyone has been like, how the fuck is she alive? So I'm like, wait, she died? When did this happen?
And so I'm like...
So I've seen her come back from the fucking dead. I haven't seen what fucking killed her.
And so I've been trying to, like, not spoil anything. Meanwhile, every piece of media coming out is like, let's spoil it. And I'm like, no.
I guess that she died. I don't know the means of it. Because these guys made it seem like she got fucking disintegrated into a pile of dust. Which is apparently not what happened. Because, like, this is a lot less miraculous to me. Because I'm like, what the fuck is everyone freaking out about? Night Sisters do weird shit with dead stuff all the time.
Well, also in this case, it's really the power of love that kind of brings her back.
That too.
If we're actually being honest, it's not the Night Sister magic, it's the power of love.
Yeah. Fucking magic tier bullshit, Quinlan Voss. I'm glad that your girlfriend isn't dead, even though she is done looking for you.
Yeah, she decided not to go find him, which I am actually kind of upset about. I kind of did want her to go see. I need my Quinlan back. We need Quinlan back. Give us Quinlan. You cowards at Lucasfilm.
Sorry, now that I've got the when the fuck did she die?
Yeah. Also, yeah. So it starts off with essentially the last chapter in the Dark Disciple book, which is Quinlan and Obi-Wan
Yeah.
burying her.
Also, hope it's going well for you, Buttercup. I know the job hunt is bullshit.
Yeah, she got her first week done, which was
right.
busy but good.
Mm-hmm.
And so so the first scene is the last chapter of Dark Disciple, which is even more crazy for me because I'm like, well, great, now we're just spoiling chapters entirely.
Like, all right, cool.
To be fair, this book has been out since 2015.
Oh, okay. So I'm 10 years late to the party.
Yeah.
Right on schedule.
Let me double check.
Still, good job, Buttercup.
Yeah, 2015. So, not quite 10 years though. You got a couple months. July 7th will be the 10-year anniversary for it.
And like, so that happens, and Ventress is like reborn.
Yeah.
And
we
the
jump.
ghost of Mother Talzin's like,
love is a powerful thing.
Love is a powerful thing.
Which is really weird coming from Mother Talzin
like,
of all people.
Hold the fuck up.
You're a
weird ghost lady.
Mother Talzin, you are an evil bitch. What do you mean you...
But I'm also like, if there was anyone who I believe would be able to, like, talk through death in a weird ritual water pool thing.
Well, yeah, because that's all part of the Night Sister culture is the pool. You bring them back to the pools of... Yeah.
It makes sense. I'm like, even with...
I think it works.
I
think it works because there's weirder things in Star Wars.
Yeah, I've seen Talzin try to use an eclipse to bring herself back from the dead. That was one of the wildest...
Only for Jar Jar of all people to stop that.
Yeah, that was one of the wild... I've seen some wild shit. So, like, there are some things in Star Wars where I'm like, I'm not surprised by this.
Yeah. And so, I'm glad that we did get the answer, because at the very least, I'm glad, like... Because that was the big thing with Bad Batch. Everybody was like, why aren't you answering it? And they're like, we'll answer it eventually. And then the next animated show we get, they answer it. Mm-hmm. And so, cool.
And she's like, no.
And then
She's like, the way Taliesin phrases it, she's like, oh, he sacrificed his love for you to bring you back.
Yeah. Which implies that maybe they're not meant to ever find each other again, which really hurts. Even more.
I don't know. I wasn't there for that romance, so I don't have any feelings about it.
They go through some shit. We'll get to the book eventually.
Here's what I understand from the book. At some point, the Jedi Council put a hit out on Ventress.
No. Dooku.
Someone did.
On Dooku.
That surprises me a lot less. That makes more sense. And I'm not sure how Quinlan and Obi-Wan are involved. I assume it's because of some other side stuff.
They use Quinlan because he's very good at doing undercover work, which is we've seen in Clone Wars already. Like, that's kind of his whole gimmick, is he's the undercover guy that you send on undercover missions.
Mm-hmm. She dies and then gets brought back.
Yeah, at this current rate, we are not getting Dark Disciple. We're not going to get to Dark Disciple till August.
Okay.
That's assuming we don't speed up on some topics, but...
And so, like, she's brought back, and she's like... She has started working, like, a security job at a fucking shuttle station.
Yeah. We skip ahead a few years, because the rest of it takes place after Bad Batch Season 3.
And so, like... Okay.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
But,
2.5 hours of sleep, yeah.
So, she, basically...
There's this dumbass kid.
Yeah, there's some kid
I'm gonna call him Enzo because I don't fucking remember his name.
Lyco.
Not Enzo.
Lyco Strata. I like Lyko.
He's all right.
He's that slightly annoying kid at first that eventually grows on you. But no, he's a Jedi Padawan on the run, and Ventress is like, I guess I'll help.
Yeah. Fuck.
And the main reason, though, that she decides to stick around with Lyko is because he mentions the path.
Yeah.
And that it is... And we know about the path because Obi-Wan show exists. And we learn that the hidden path, which fans had theorized since Obi-Wan, and now it's confirmed, Quinlan Vos founded the path. Because Obi-Wan didn't confirm who founded it, but fans speculated that it was Quinlan because he was one of the names on the wall in Obi-Wan when they showed like who had gone through the path. Because, they had that wall of names at one point. And Quinlan's was one name that was on that wall. And so fans have speculated that he maybe founded it. And, hey, it's nice that the fans were right. And that Lucasfilm was like, yeah, it was Quinlan. Maybe they retroactively decided it was Quinlan based off the fans speculating. Or maybe they planned that. Who knows? Either way, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And of course, we know the Mantis crew is also part of the path as well now, thanks to thanks to Survivor. Because Fallen Order they weren't quite part of it yet, and then Survivor they become part of it. So, which also goes into what we talked about last week with all these the 100 Jedi still being alive. Yeah. This explains why there's still enough Jedi that are surviving because they are doing essentially an underground railroad network to hide to get people to safety. Whether that's existing Jedi or new Force-sensitive children that need to be hidden from the Empire. So that way they don't be forced into becoming Inquisitors.
Yep.
Speaking of Inquisitors...
One of them shows up and is like, I'm looking for the boy. Actually, he doesn't say anything. They just start swinging.
Yeah.
Lyko tries to fight back and suffers the nastiest spin kick I've seen. And is immediately taken out of the fight.
It was that was such a cool Inquisitor design, too. But yeah. Of course, we get the Inquisitor saber.
Oh boy, is it definitely revealed that Asajj has been out of the game for a while.
Yeah, because she struggles a bit during that fight. They do defeat him eventually, but... Yeah, and so...
Surprisingly, it's Lyko with the backstab. I was like, okay. I don't blame you.
But also, this is when Asajj is like... Because Lyko's like, so you're a Jedi, and Asajj is like...
Something like that.
Actually, I was kind of on the opposite side of the war.
He's like,
I'm Asajj Ventress, and Lyko's like,
probably killed a lot of people,
And Lyko's like, oh fuck. How do I know I can trust you? Which leads into the next episode, which is Asajj meeting up with some of her bounty hunting friends to kind of get information on where the path is hiding.
It was like, yes. Take the child into the worst part of fucking Coruscant.
The bad part is, it's Latz Razi of all people.
I
think we ran into her once in Clone Wars, I thought. Yeah, she was part of the Boba crew.
Oh, yeah.
During the episode where Ventress joins Boba crew, only to put Boba into a crate.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've seen her. Yeah. But she tries to manipulate Lyko into not trusting Ventress. It works for a little bit.
Yeah, up until she's like, nah.
Time to take Lyko for profit.
Yeah, after like...
Because Ventress is like, hey, we need information on the path. Latz goes, well, I need a heist done.
So we'll do that.
So we'll do that, and then you can get the information you want.
And because nothing ever goes right,
the heist does not go right. And so Latz is like, well, I'll just take Lyco and call it a profit. She pulls a Hondo. She's like... It's a bit of a Hondo move, I feel like.
yeah.
She takes Lyco and is like, all right, bye, Ventress. We're going to take this Jedi and turn him into the Empire and make a profit this way.
And Ventress is like, fuck, I still need the kid.
Also, Latz still has the information I need, too.
Yeah. And so she, like, briefly returns to, what if I just fucking kill you?
And Latz is like, all right, here you go. Here's Lyco. And then she goes, and the information.
And she's like, we didn't fuck up on our part of the job.
Yeah. It's not our fault that your robot got spotted by the stormtroopers.
Yep. And Lance is like, fine.
Because that's the whole reason that shootout happens. The droid gets spotted.
Yep.
It was going fine until the droid got spotted. And so, I do like the rolling dome as they're trying to get the thing for the heist, though. But yeah, so Latz gives the information.
Environmental challenge.
Yeah, Latz gives the information that, and so, and then Ventress is like, oh yeah, and you're also gonna take us somewhere so that way we can,
yeah,
actually follow up on this. And she's like, okay, if you're gonna twist my arm about it, essentially. Nope. And so then we get to the last episode of Tales of the Underworld that we were going to talk about, because it's the last episode that exists. Mm-hmm. And it's probably the most interesting of the Ventress episodes, yeah. I think. Much like all the Tales shows so far, I feel like one character out of the two characters gets all the best episodes, and then the other character gets one good episode. Mm. In my opinion.
Alright.
I think Bane got all the best episodes. I think all three of his episodes are just good. And then I think the last episode for Ventress is good. And then the other two are kind of okay.
Oh.
They're not bad, but they're just passable. And I think the same thing happened in Tales of the Jedi. I think Ahsoka got all the good episodes. And Dooku got one good episode. Mm. And then Tales of the Empire, Bear's got all the good episodes.
Yeah. I'll say this, I think, for me, Tales of the Jedi is even. Tales of the Empire, Bear's got the good episodes, because who the fuck is Morgan Elsbeth?
Other than Ahsoka and Mandalorian, who cares? Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I don't know who the fuck that lady is.
I mean, I understand why they gave her episodes, because they wanted to give us more context of her before... Because I think, it came out before Ahsoka. So they wanted to give us more context of her before Ahsoka came out. I think it was before Ahsoka. It might have been after.
Maybe.
Either way, it was to give more context to her as a character to fit with Ahsoka show. But only one of her episodes was good.
Yeah.
And so... and I think it had less to do with who cares about Morgan. It just had to do with they were weaker episodes than the Barriss ones. But yeah, and then this is... I'm curious if you feel the same about Tales of the Underworld, or do you feel it's split pretty fair?
I think the problem is, like, for Bane, it's an origin story, and for Ventress, this is an epilogue.
An epilogue / continuation of her story, because I feel like she could come back now. Mm-hmm. I feel like we get more we could get Ventress and Lyco adventures now, because third episode of the arc, she her and Lyco find this old man who used to be a separatist loyalist who's now in a wheelchair, repulsor lift wheelchair, and his granddaughter. And they basically go, hey, we got some information that could help you, because they're like, hey, we need to find this ship, right, where it's going to be. And they go, well, we can help you with that, I guess, but you need to do a job for us.
Yeah.
we need you to take out these people that have been stealing water from us. And so Lyco and Ventress go to investigate it, find out, no, much like the Tuscan situation, they have more rights to the water than the people that Ahsoka and Lyco are working for. Because they're natives to the planet versus this old man who says, I've got rights to the water because I'm human. Essentially. Essentially is what he's doing. And
communication is a key part of, like, adjusting to a living environment. And when you can't communicate, like, for example, the old man can't.
Whereas Lyco understands the language.
Lyco does.
Which is why he figures out the truth of everything.
Yeah.
And so Lyco does manage to do the Jedi thing and be a diplomat, despite the old man going, "You're a Jedi?"
Yeah.
Because the old man does not like that. Lyco's a Jedi. He's like, I know Ventress. Ventress is a loyalist to the Separatists, and Ventress is like, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Well, kind of got. She's like, a lot happened.
Like Dooku's shooting me down.
And then I tried to assassinate him with some of my sisters, but don't worry about it. You don't need to know about that.
And then that failed. But then I gaslit Dooku into getting a new apprentice that I tried to kill him with. That failed. Because then that apprentice turned on both of us.
Yeah. He joined up with his brother, I think.
And then General Grievous killed all my sisters and mom.
Yeah. It was a bad week. It was a bad couple of months.
But no, which is also the origin of Morgan Elsbeth, because she's like, she witnessed all General Grievous massacring all the... Yep. Going back into Tales of the Empire.
I guess tangentially related to Survivor,
Jedi Fallen Order. Although she was a little bit too young to have all the memories of what... like, she just saw the blue and green lightsabers and went, Jedi. Yep. She didn't understand that was Grievous and the Separatists. Which is something that Cal had to be like, whoa. It wasn't us.
Yeah. Oh, man, what a fun chain of events.
But no. Lyco manages to negotiate and do the Jedi diplomacy thing.
And Ventress. So he succeeds with the locals. And then
the locals are able to find the ship for them.
Yeah. And then they return to the old man. They explain the situation. He's like, I don't know what is very hard to lay down
the blaster.
Yeah. And so he eventually does once Ventress talks him out of it. She's like, all right, look, war's been over for a long time. You can quit fighting now, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, the war's been over, I wouldn't say a long time. 3 years. Assuming that Bad Batch, every season takes place over a year. Let me double check timeline. Sorry. Season 2. Nope, only 2 years. So, 2 years have passed. Well, a year, actually, because we're still in 18 BBY. 18 baby. Yeah, 18 baby.
This one.
Yeah, so 18. Yeah, it's still in the 18 BBY. So, that means a year. So it's only been a year since the end of the war. But that's still... And that makes it even tougher.
Yeah. It's just... Put the gun down.
Yeah.
You are an old man in a wheelchair with just his granddaughter. So, I think, but now that the situation has been explained, everything will be fine.
And so, they managed to negotiate. Then the locals lead Lyco and Ventress to the ship that's supposed to bring them to the hidden path.
Mm-hmm.
And Lyco's like, "All right, Ventress, you getting on with me?" And Ventress is like, "No, you go ahead without me. I think my journey ends here."
Yeah.
So Lyco's like, "All right," and Ventress leaves, only for the ship to go off, and then Lyco shows up and is like, "Actually, I didn't get on. I'm gonna hang out with you." Ventress is like, "God damn it."
Yep.
Except at this point, they've become friends for real. So it's like, it's that I'm annoyed, but also you are my friend. So.
Oh, also a funny moment is that Ventress gets punked by Lyco earlier in the episode. In regards to, like, the water they have to drink. Like, right at the start. Since water is a key thing throughout this episode.
Yeah. And so, it basically ends with them going, "We're just going to find more Jedi to bring to the path and kind of lead in the right direction." Mm-hmm. So they are now unofficially also members of the Hidden Path in a way, because they're basically doing the same thing the Survivor, the Mantis crew is doing, which is just finding survivors and bringing them to the path.
This is never stated directly, but oh well.
But it's hinted at, like they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna just do stuff together," but it does seem like that's kind of the direction they're going in, which is, I feel like that just narratively makes sense on what they'd probably be up to next. But now they can tell more stories and tell us.
Yep.
All right, so that was Tales of the Underworld.
Yep.
Acolyte, Wayseeker. Actually, Tales of the Underworld. Overall score.
I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
That's what I was thinking, actually. Get out of my brain. I was also thinking 7 out of 10.
I was like, do I want to give it a 6? But I almost thought that's too low.
Yeah, and I didn't want to give 8, because that would imply that I think more than half... Because, like I said, I think the Cad Bane episodes are really strong.
Yeah.
The Ventress one, it's really only the last one that I think is... Like, it has a strong opening. I'm glad we get the well, I joke about it spoiling Dark Disciple for you. I think it does a good job of showing that scene and showing Quinlan a little bit and explaining Ventress coming back in a way that works within Star Wars. Because you can get away with a lot in Star Wars. But there are certain points where it's like, oh, that doesn't make sense. They don't do that. They do something that makes sense, I think. But I feel like while they're fun episodes, they're not the best of the best, right? So they're serviceable. So 7, yeah. I definitely say at least watch the Cad Bane episodes, if for sure. But if you're a Ventress fan, you'll like the Ventress episodes. But if you're not as heavily invested in Ventress, then you might not care as much. Whereas Cad Bane, if you're not invested in Cad Bane, you might become invested in Cad Bane after that. That's my opinions on it. Acolyte, Wayseeker time.
Yeah.
This is the book that caused so many weeks of just, are you done with the book yet?
No.
Was it worth it? Uh-oh.
No.
I will say I overall like the book, but it takes what I like about the book is that we get High Republic era stuff that's not fucking world ending. It's just a simple Jedi mission of, let's stop some pirates.
Yeah.
So simple, and it's not Nihil because we're past the Nihil existence, so we don't have to worry about Nihil. I'm glad about that. We're not gonna as deep dive into it because we are already like almost 2 hours into the podcast. And while this is the main topic, because this is the one that was scheduled, we'll kind of go into our more highlighting what we like, what we didn't like type stuff that we do sometimes, rather than going through the entire story. Because I do think if you're a High Republic fan, and if you're a Vern fan, Vernestra fan, I think this book is serviceable for those fans. But if you want something more, or if you're new to the High Republic, it might not serve best for you. And that's even including if you're an Acolyte fan. Even if you like the Acolyte, I don't know if this book serves Acolyte fans.
It really doesn't.
It serves High Republic fans for sure. Because there's so much High Republic like fan service in this book.
I will say that the one thing that I do like about this book, I do like our primary antagonist for the most part.
Oh yeah, the noble that's leading these pirates, and
yeah, it was about like a little bit before the end where I was like, oh, I know who's gonna fucking kill you.
God, and I like the premise of, hey, there's this device, because it's a device that's set up in the. Once again, this book is a High Republic fan service book. If you have been paying attention to at least the mainline High Republic books, then this book I think you'll appreciate. But if you're just an Acolyte fan, you're not going to appreciate it as much, because I think it does an okay job at giving us Indara as a character and letting us get to know her more.
Yeah.
I do think that it does that well. The one thing that's weird, and it's one that you and I discussed, is the back and forth between first person and third person. Because for Vern's chapters, it's first person.
Yeah.
And we agreed on the why Justina did this. It's to get into the mindset of Vern and to show why her and Indara think differently.
Yeah.
And at first, for me, it's off-putting, but as the book went on, I kind of adjusted. I don't think, from what you've told me, you did not adjust.
No, I didn't.
And so
I prefer Indara's part of this book more.
Is it because it's a newer character or the third person narrative? You just did.
I think it's a combination of those two things, because I'm like, all right, Vern.
I did like seeing. I think this does start to bridge the gap between High Republic, where we're at with Vern, and Acolyte Vern.
Yeah.
Because this does bridge that gap, because Vern, in this book, still isn't Acolyte Vern. Although she's almost there.
Yeah.
Because she is more secretive now in this book than she is in the High Republic.
She's a lot more willing to make, like, backdoor deals.
And so I think this is starting to bridge that gap for Vern as a character. But I still have theories on what's going to happen in High Republic that's going to make her like that. That we've talked about. I think she's going to be the one that kills Markion. I think she's going to be the one that pulls the trigger, so to speak.
The thing about, for me, another thing that, like, is an unfortunate disservice to the book, right, is because we've dealt with the main, like, crux of the problem before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the device itself. Or
we've dealt with devices like this several times before.
Well,
so I'm kind of like,
specifically, at least in canon, it's only really been specifically the High Republic. But I mean, we've dealt with metals that could stop lightsabers and stuff like that, but we've never dealt with something that just deactivates them, other than Rising Storm and the escape, the Republic Fair
I'm
book.
talking about the Master and Apprentice with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon.
That one didn't turn off the lightsaber. That one...
Yeah, but the effect, in essence, is the same.
To a degree.
To a degree. But I'm also like, okay, cool, yeah.
But this is a more definite device that will ensure they always go off, right? Whereas normally it's, at least in Master and Apprentice, it's more of a, it has to be in the right, like everything just has to be just right for it to work.
I didn't like the book.
Yeah, that's fair.
I did read it.
Yeah.
It took me a long time. I did read it.
No, and this is, of course, this is why we have the podcast, and, I'm going to like things, you're not going to like things, or you're going to like things and I'm not going to like things. That's not good.
And the thing is, like, I've read Justina Ireland's other work on this fucking podcast. This is a low ball.
And I don't think it comes down to Justina's writing. I think it's just it's just the story doesn't work for you.
Yeah, I'm like, this is a thing I've seen before, or at least stuff that's similar enough to where I'm like, okay. It's not through any fault of like her own. It's just a case of like,
this narrative just didn't work for you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
On the upside, Porter and Buryaga do make it. Very happy about that. Thank you for that, Miss Ireland.
Which, that takes out at least one on the Luminous group that survive. Because let's what is it? The Luminous 9? Is that what they were called?
Something like that.
Yeah, Luminous 9. Okay. So, who do we have on the Luminous 9? So, we don't know about Elzar's fate yet. We don't know about Avar's fate. We don't know Torben's fate.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know Reith's.
Alive.
Bell Zettifar, we don't know. Buryaga, we know is alive, or he lived, anyways. We don't know about Tarek, and we know Ty survives.
Yeah, because she's in this book.
She's in this book.
Shout out Ty Yorick, you made it.
If we don't know about we also don't know about Aslan Rail. So. We know the fate of 2 out of the 9.
Yeah. If I was to, like, axe any of them from, like, a writing perspective...
Like, who's gonna die? Yeah.
Who are you picking?
I think Elzar makes a sacrifice play.
I can see that. I also see Tarek being eliminated.
Yeah. I think Elzar I think narratively... Elzar has to make a sacrifice play because it just fits his narrative arc that he's been on. Because he's been on this self-guilt arc a little bit. And it also doesn't help that Vern also kind of brought some righteous anger onto him. And then when he went to confess his crimes to the Jedi Council, they were like, Because that's essentially what happens. Vern brings down the anger and goes, I'm going to tell the council what you did. And he goes, no, I'm going to turn myself in. And then he does. And then the council goes,
They go, you made a bad call. It happens sometimes.
They went, at least you confessed. Good enough. And Elzar was like, what?
You know what? I just want Elzar and Avar to fucking retire at the end of this.
That would be nice, but I think narratively Elzar's gonna be like, I think Elzar still feels guilty about a lot of that. And so I think he is going to not do something stupid, but I think he's going to do something grand in order to make up for what he believes are his crimes still.
We'll have to wait and see.
No, yeah. And we only got less than a month? Yeah, less than a month to find out. Because that book comes out June 17th. So, exciting times. I think I like all the fan service stuff in here. I like that it's a smaller story, scale-wise. Because I don't need world ending.
Yeah, we're kind of like...
I'm kind of burnt out on that.
Yeah. There are some pretty funny moments in here. One of them being like Vernestra asking Indara, how many ships have you crashed?
And once again,
Indara goes, none?
But yeah, so overall, this is, I think, once again, I think if you're a High Republic fan, this book might work more. Mm-hmm. But if you're an Acolyte fan wanting more knowledge about these characters, you'll get Indara's stuff, and that will make sense. I think the Vernestra stuff you'll get, but it's not going to click unless you've read High Republic proper. Only because hers is just so tied into High Republic proper stuff. Because we get Tyoric, we get mentions of Buryaga, and we get the main weapon in this comes from the High Republic books. Yeah.
We got a shout out to Reeve.
Yeah,
with her using a replica shield.
And then of course we get the visions, which are all her having visions of my boy.
We also get to see Deva.
Yeah, we get Deva Love, which actually I can now confirm it's pronounced Diva, because the audiobook. Mm. So the E, it is Diva, long pop, which I did like seeing Diva again, because we haven't seen her in a minute. Because the last time we saw her was Eye of Darkness, I think. Yeah. Because they reference that actually, because we get Avar, we get Ava, we get Avon, we get Avon mention, because that family is important to this book as well. The Starroses get some, the Griffs get some.
The Griffs, the Graphs.
Graphs. Sorry,
the Griff Graphs.
The Griff Graphs. The Graphs get a shout out. Although I hate the Graph slander. Okay, because the initial Graphs that we meet, if we go like release order and not chronological, are good people. But then the High Republic era has been like, no, the Graphs are assholes. They're opportunistic corpos. Mm-hmm. And then of course the Santekas are the good family, except they're also opportunistic corpos. Yep. Oh man, but which once again, if we talk about things in release order and not chronological, the Santekas are also good, because we get Lore Santeka in The Force Awakens. But no, it's very funny seeing that the Santekas and Graphs were bad people in the High Republic era. But no, like I said, it really comes down to where you're coming from before you read this book. Yeah. I definitely would not recommend this to anybody who's never read a Star Wars book.
No.
This is not on that list. This is not a first book you should read. This is you should read the High Republic before you read this. Yeah. Because I come out liking it at the end. I know, like, it's definitely not the strongest book. I'm not gonna go as harsh as a 6. I still would say it's at least a 7, but I could understand you going lower, because, like you said, it does repeat a lot of story beats that Star Wars I think it's just because Star Wars tends to repeat beats a lot of the time, and that's just Star Wars. Yeah. And it's something we talked about the past couple episodes about the dangers of Star Wars fan burnout, and I think we're hitting that.
I'm hitting that. I don't know about you, man.
No, yeah, I'm not really hitting it. I very rarely hit it, but you tend to hit that. But you're also like, this is my niche fandom and not as much yours, and so like you enjoy it, but it's not like, yeah, I could go hours and hours and hours talking about it. You less so. If we were doing Soulsborne, that's more your. That one I doubt you could have as much burnout with. I don't think I've ever seen Seth burn out on Soulsborne.
Well, usually that's because I give myself like about a 2-week rest.
Yeah. And so, for sure, when we get done with this season, we're going to take a longer break than we did between the last season and this season of the podcast.
How long of a break did we take?
I think we took like a couple weeks. Maybe a week. So we'll take a little longer.
Let's take a month.
As long as nothing major comes out during that month.
If a movie comes out, then we'll talk about that. Tell you what, that's the deal I will make with you right now.
Not even a TV show?
Not even a TV show. Has to be a movie.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah, I don't think any movies are coming out within that time, so...
I don't know. We might be surprised.
Currently on the schedule, no. Nothing's coming out in September of 2025. September to October of 2025. And in fact, we might be clear on any new stuff till November. Unless a bunch of novels get announced. But yeah. Because the next movie's not till 2026. Anyways. Overall, though, I thought it was fine. I liked the fan service stuff for High Republic. I did like learning more about the characters before we see their actual fates. I liked seeing Vern kind of start to get to where she needs to for the Acolyte to make sense. And her become more active as part of, like, the council, because that was also a key part of, like, okay, how does she go from distancing herself from the council to pretty much being a secret 13th member of the council? Because that's how the Acolyte treats her anyways. They treat her as, like, a secret 13th member of the Jedi Council.
Yeah.
And so, I give it a 7. But it's like a low 7. It's like a C-, essentially. Not because of Justina's writing, and in fact, I thought it was interesting with the experimentalness of the first person and third person perspective. I thought that was interesting. Did I get frustrated at first with it? A little bit, but did I find it interesting by the end? Yeah.
I don't want to be harsh, right?
But be honest. I don't want you to lie.
I don't want to lie either.
Yeah. Because I do want you to be honest. If you don't like the book, I'm not judging you for that.
No, the thing is, I'm trying to decide, like, what the number out of 10 is for this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, although it pains me to say it, I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah. I mean, once again, that is your opinion, yeah. And I think it helps that, one, I know you've read this, and therefore you took the time to try. You took a month. Whereas if I heard that number from like certain YouTube Star Wars channels, I would not believe them, because I would, one, know that they probably don't read Star Wars books. Like, they just do the visual media, and then two, they probably would have just given that number for the sake of, oh, it's the Acolyte. Whereas I know you're giving your honest opinion. I know you tried. I know you, like...
God, I tried.
And you and I had a healthy discussion about this book, because you did find things you liked about it. You liked...
It's just not a lot
It's
overall.
just not enough for you to appreciate the book overall, yeah. And that's fair. I think
the Acolyte show itself has a higher rating, in my opinion, than this book.
And you were the biggest fan of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have problems with the Acolyte show. I liked it more than you. More pacing issues than anything, really. But I think we also need to normalize the ability to what we're doing right now, which is just, we disagree, and that's fine. I think that's also a problem within the Star Wars fandom, is the ability to just normalize that. And just go, I liked it, you didn't. Okay. I think that needs to be normalized in the fandom a little bit. And our circle of Star Wars fans that we're friends with, yes, that is kind of normalized, but the wider fandom, less so. But that's, I think, fandoms in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... Depending if you're more of a Seth or you're more of a me, depends on how you'll feel about the Acolyte Wayseeker. If you already weren't big on the Acolyte, it sounds like you'll be less enthused about this. If you were kind of bigger on it like me and you've enjoyed the High Republic stuff, you might get more out of it like me. So, it comes down to your personal taste. I say try it. Seth will probably less so.
You can try it. Maybe you'll have a better experience than I did.
Yeah. But I think that's also the benefit of us having different opinions, is maybe some of our fans tend to agree more with you on these reviews, and maybe they tend to agree more with me, and because our opinions are going to be different, that should hopefully help.
Sometimes they're the same, but in this case they are not.
No, yeah. I think, though, that should help fans be able to kind of figure out, like, how they feel about. Because I think that's the benefit of reviewers, is it's kind of a similar thing to, like, back in the day, Siskel and Ebert. They almost rarely ever agreed. And you were either more of a Siskel or you were more of an Ebert.
Who the
Roger Ebert and
fuck are you talking about?
Gene Siskel, Roger Ebert. Most classic movie reviewers of all time. They invented the 2 thumbs up.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. But then again, I'm not a film major.
They were not just film major things. Like,
no, I meant you should know who they are because you are communications and film.
Yeah, but my parents know who they are. Like, your mom probably knows who they are.
Mom probably does. I don't.
She's probably going to be like, Seth, he's on the chat right now. We were talking about earlier today, too, about your mom being your biggest op on this podcast. She really is. She calls you out so much.
Well, someone has to. Who better?
Who knows you the best?
Who better than your own parents to call you out? I know that's not the case for everybody. Some people have, like, really bad parents.
But I think next week you're going to enjoy more. I think I'm excited for you for next week.
Yeah. Season 2 of Andor. At the moment,
you've watched the first 2 episodes and you liked them. So
we will see we'll see if that continues.
But yeah, so that's it for this week. What a downer, unfortunately. We should have done Tales of the Underworld second. We should have talked about that one last. Oh well.
Yeah, no. Sometimes things just end on a down note. That's the moral for this week. Sometimes the good guys lose.
Oh no. That might be the moral next week too.
Probably.
No. Thank you all for watching today's episode of Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I've been your host, Caleb. Be sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe to us. You can find us at Escape Reality Films on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, TikTok, and Blue Sky. You can also show your support for us by joining our Patreon, which is at Escape Reality Films. Shout out to Jennifer Brantley.
Woo!
There you can watch our YouTube content before it's publicly available, including the Grim Hollow D&D game from last night with the epic finale to the current arc. Be sure to check out our Discord, which is also linked wherever you are watching, so you can become a part of our community. And it's linked right. You can copy that link right there, and you'll be able to go there. A little more. Nope. Right here. There. Yep. Yeah, that.
And also these ones.
Yeah, that one. That one's the. Yeah, that one's the YouTube, Twitch, Twitter that I'm barely on. Let's go ahead and
shout out to our moderators.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and shout out to our mods. I'm actually also, since I know that they're having some. There we go. That's our Discord link. Since I know they're having a little bit of slowdown with frames, they probably aren't caught up. But shout out to Pixie, who also is a streamer, as we talked about earlier today. She does variety streaming. On Thursday, she's been playing Psychonauts. Classic game. Classic PS2 era, yeah. And then she has also been playing, like I said, Friday, Elden Ring with Zach. So go check her out. Also, check out her YouTube because I edit the videos for them. They dropped Witch's Doll video recently.
Oh, the one with the false starts?
Yeah, the one with the false starts.
Yep.
How was that?
Oh, dude, it was great. The realization of, oh no, we have to play the whole game over.
Did you enjoy the fake, like, me starting the intro over and over?
Yeah. Oh, God.
I was like,
there was one.
I was like,
that,
so when does me doing the intro again become annoying?
There was one scare that they missed the first time going through it, that they saw the second time, and I was like, oh, good. They noticed this time. It's the one where, like, the old lady's just standing at the end of the hallway, but she's kind of, like, leaning over. I'm like, man, they didn't notice that the first time. They noticed it this time.
But go check that out. It's great. I'm working on a. They're doing a new series with Bramble the Mountain King, which is kind of a.
Oh wait, I think I may have seen this one before.
Yeah,
is it like a?
It's kind of almost
Swedish.
Yeah,
fairy tale
yeah,
kind of
yeah. A little bit of that.
Oh yeah.
And so they've been playing that. I think I created my best edit yet. In that with a specific clip, because there's a specific clip that I'm so proud of that I did. I will show Seth, which means I gotta turn off the desktop audio because I don't want y'all to hear it, because I don't want to ruin it. Let's just say Zach threatens to kick a baby, and this causes me to create an edit involving that. That's my favorite edit yet. I'm so proud of that clip that I did, because I frame by frame did that. That's how much effort I put into that.
Oh boy! But I hope you guys are ready for a fucking nightmare journey through Sweden's folklore.
Yeah, but also
looking at you, Pixie.
Yeah,
and Zach.
I think Zach has seen it before, because that actually got him in trouble, because he mentioned that he'd watched a big name YouTuber play it before. But also, I want to also shout out our other moderator, our favorite moderator here, or at least mine. Buttercup.
Your favorite.
Buttercup. She's also the self-proclaimed favorite moderator, because she also does our favorite moderators here whenever she pops up, usually. She didn't do it today, but I know she's been busy today. So, but yeah, thank you for helping keep the streams alive, both of you, because y'all do keep the chat flowing when we be nerding out and talking y'all's ears off. And so, speaking of friends, though. You want to shout out some friends of ours that play D&D?
Sure thing. Every other Sunday from 5 to 7 Central Standard Time, you can catch some friends of ours over at the Steam Dungeon on YouTube in their 5e game Trials of Nebu.
Yep. Fun times.
I have no idea what's happening. I haven't been there
I know. Yeah. But once again, thank you all for watching. Join us next week as we'll finally get into Andor Season 2. The one that I know Seth's probably the most excited about when it comes to, like, recent stuff that's been coming out.
We'll see.
I've spoken.
Y'all be safe out there.